This is Dan Dix here, reporting for Press for Truth. We're here at the Freedom Force International Conference here in Paso Robles, California, and I am joined here by Jerry Day. This is a man who has been exposing some of the dangers and the causes for concern with smart meters. You put out some videos a while ago. Got a lot of attention. So I'm curious if you could tell us, for people out there who are maybe not really understanding what the problems are with this, maybe they're just saying, hey, aren't we just going from the analog world to the digital? What would you say, according to your research, is some of the main causes for concern with smart meters?
There's four big ones: radiation, surveillance, fire hazard, and dirty electricity. And none of those things were present in electromechanical meters, the old one your grandmother had. All of those things are present in every new digital meter. So that's not one problem, that's four big ones and several other small ones. So your big problem is, and the intention of the new electronic meters is to function as surveillance devices. Now, you don't put a surveillance device in an electric meter because an electric utility meter is something that's subject to 2,000 to 10,000 volt surges. A surveillance device is comprised of fine electronics. You got 2,000 volts hitting fine electronics. It's a bomb. Basically, it explodes in flames. This is the fire hazard problem. So the idea of putting a surveillance device in a utility meter is a poor idea, just from the fire safety standpoint. And now, obviously, you've got the issue of surveillance. Should you have someone violating the Fourth Amendment of the Bill of Rights, violating your property, privacy, and your personal security in order to collect data from you on your personal living habits inside your home? That's what the purpose of it is. It's a surveillance program. So is that something right or good? No, it's something illegal. So somehow we have all been brainwashed to think that when someone puts a surveillance device in our smart meter, that's okay. Well, if I just took that surveillance device separately and put it on the side of your house and somehow tapped into everything you do with electrical devices all day long and recorded a time of day database on that and used that database to exploit you and to get money out of you, this goes to your insurance company, who identifies certain bad behaviors, so now your health insurance goes up. Other behaviors can be identified that affect all kinds of different insurance, homeowners insurance, whatever. And then you've got law enforcement that might want to interpret this a certain way. This surveillance device is equipped with an algorithm, and the algorithm that they use is going to interpret your behavior. And for instance, if you're using your hair dryer many times a night, that means you're a partier, right? Or and then if you're a single woman and you've got children, then they come and CPS comes and checks on you. They get this data. The government gets all this data. So Child Protective Services comes and raids your house because it looks like you're out partying all the time, when actually all you're doing is going to church group meetings with your children. So the algorithms have to interpret this data, easily misinterpret that data, and now you've got law enforcement on your back over something that doesn't even exist, and you don't even know why they're kicking in your door. So then you've got dirty electricity. There's a switching mode power supply inside the electronic meter. That's how they steal electricity from you to power their surveillance device. That disrupts your incoming current sine wave integrity. That's dirty electricity. That floods your home. You're living in high exposures of EMF right now. So you've got so many problems, so radiation, surveillance, dirty. The radiation is the other one I didn't mention. So the transmitter on that thing has to transmit that data back to the company. Only way they can do that is to pulse the radiation and up the amperage and power of that so that it will penetrate walls. If it's penetrating walls, what's it doing to your body? People get sick on that all the time. People get sick on the dirty electricity all the time. I get calls from all over the country of people who say, I thought this was all baloney, and then I got sick and I realized it started happening right when they put the smart meter in, but I'm really sick. These are people who are experiencing brain fog, memory loss, insomnia, skin problems, mood swings, damaged relationships. It changes the whole psychological structure, of the people in the exposures. And some people are vulnerable to the dirty electricity, the electric fields from the switching mode power supply. Some people are more vulnerable to the radio frequencies, the transmitted radio frequencies.
So you've actually found cases where people have had their health clearly affected by the meters.
I spoke to a woman who said my husband was killed by this. They moved into their dream house, their retirement house, and the day that they moved in, she said he told her, I just don't feel good. I don't feel good now. And they had no idea what it was. They knew nothing about radio frequencies, electric fields, dirty electricity. And a year later, I saw pictures of this man. He was a healthy, vibrant, happy person. A year later, he was a withered up person in a wheelchair. A few weeks later, he was dead. And she said, we've now identified the cause. It took us a year to figure out what this was. It's electromagnetic fields. Gave him cancer. And she said, I have it now too. But at least I know what it is. Maybe there's a way I can, and I helped her. I, gave her some counsel on how to avoid it, how to shield it, how to remove it, how to deal with the power company. And she's okay. Yeah.
Well, a lot of these things are very new, and I'm wondering, is this connected in some way, shape, or form to the smart appliances that people are now installing in their homes? We got these refrigerators that are monitoring the food, things of that nature. Does that connect into how they can survey through the smart meters?
Well, of course, that's the data that the smart meter is designed to collect. See, they will tell you this is a two-way meter, so they can send a message in and shut off your air conditioner when they want to save their grid load. Instead of blowing transformers, instead of having grid load imbalances, now they will control grid load imbalances by sending signals out to shut down appliances. That's them sending to you. What you're sending to them, of course, is, like you say, any data that can be collected, any sensor that can be put in your appliance. And like you say, a refrigerator can be installed with sensors that actually, in some cases, remotely read barcodes. And so they know what food you've got in your freezer. And if you eat a lot of ice cream, your insurance company says, you may have an obesity problem coming up, and we're going to have to jack your rates because this doesn't look good. You're an ice cream freak, or whatever they decide to evaluate, or their algorithms tell them is a red flag. So the smart appliances are designed to interface with the smart meter. That's what it's for. What else would it be for? You're not collecting data from your appliances. They are. And they do it through the electronic meter, the utility meter.
Right, and so they're reading the data from the appliances for purposes of surveillance and control, essentially.
Well, sure. Data is power. Data is the new gold rush. If you listen to Catherine Austin Fitts, tremendous economist, she's identified this as the gold rush we're in right now. And that's why all this data craziness seems to be coming up, is because when you know something about someone else and you have the opportunity to exploit that data, you're going to make money that way. You're going to have power over them. That's why government is secret, and we're supposed to divulge everything about ourselves through our appliances and everywhere else, our credit card transactions, so that those who are in power can have more power, those who have wealth can have more wealth at our expense because they're harvesting our data. That's the whole game.
All right, well, at this point, can people just say, you know what? No, I don't like the sounds of this. Can they not comply, or is it becoming more and more mandatory around the world?
Well, there's no way you can avoid compliance. You can't, we've tried to say, no, you may not put an electronic utility meter on my property. We've tried to talk to the utility company in reasonable terms. We say you are committing criminal trespass, radiation surveillance, fire hazard, dirty electricity. These are all things that are illegal. These are all things that harm us in one way or another, or violate our rights in one way or another. You may not do it. And if you don't get this thing off my property within 30 days, I will take independent action. I'll put a safe and lawful meter myself back on the property, et cetera, et cetera. What do we get in return? That should be plenty to have a good person say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm violating the law, I'm a criminal, I'll stop it. No, the power companies say, this is what we're going to do if you want electricity. They bully you. They say, we're going to threaten to arrest you. We're going to threaten to cut off your electricity. Take what we got, because that's our rules. You know why we can do that? Because you're dependent on us. You're dependent on electricity. And we've fallen into this thing where we don't have our solar panels. We don't have our wind turbine or whatever. And yes, we're totally dependent on that. So we have to start thinking of how in the future, maybe not today or this year, but how someday we're going to get free of this grid.
Well, maybe just in closing, just to wrap this up more solution-orientated, what are some of the things that people can do on the individual level to protect themselves from this moving forward?
Well, I've got a website, EMF Help Center.com. And I've gone now to update that website, and we've got solutions there. At the homepage at emfhelpcenter.com is a center column right there, and it's titled Solutions. Now, on the left column, it sort of talks about the problem and what people are experiencing. Center column Solutions, right hand some products, so we can make some commissions on certain things that you need to, get your house cleaned up and all that. But that solution page is full of links and resources and documents you can download free instantly. So this is really the place to start, and our contacts are there. Contact me, give you answers, help you. I answer the phone every day, all day. People calling from I never heard of, calling me from all over the country, and happy to do it. And, it's great to be part of this solution as opposed to the other way around.
Well, that's fantastic. And I know a lot of people are going to be very interested to see these solutions you have outlined. So everyone, please check the links in the description below to find out how you can learn more from Jerry Day. Sir, thanks again for talking to us.
Thanks so much for your time. Good luck.
We all want truth. The truth will set you free.